we're not the perfect 10. The people who are striving to be the perfect 10 are the people that don't know Jesus is the perfect 10. We can spend our lives and our days exercising all day long. Some of these athletes, they exercise and they are homeschooled. And as a result, they just work day and day and day and day, year after year after year. They're exhausted. Some of them have major operations. They go through a lot. To be one of the 5 people who are chosen for the Olympics out of millions. But that's not the case in our spiritual life. It's the opposite. It's that one perfect 10 that makes us make that team. We are all in that team because of what Jesus has done for us. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever allow anyone to say to you that you're just not good enough. Because the truth of the matter is, we're not. But that's not the point. The point is God's love was extended to us through his life, death, and resurrection, that we may become that perfect 10 in the sight of God. When will we, as a movement, ever understand that the righteousness of Christ cannot be added unto? He can work through us. I'm not saying that if we love one another, it's a bad thing. I'm saying he can work through us to make us the people that we want to be. But it's not because we exercise too much, or it's not because we're doing all the right things. It's because his love is shed on our behalf in our heart. And it is his will, not our will, but his will that all flesh be saved. So I think you really heard a lot. I didn't do any of my presentation, but I think you really heard a lot today. And I want you to walk away with the idea that he who began a great work in you will be faithful to complete it. It's those who will be translated, and it's a true thing. I mean, when we talk about perfection, we have to talk about, is it true? Can we actually be perfect? And then we look at Enoch, and then we look at Elijah, and they were translated, and we say to ourselves, you know what? This is a possibility. It said of Moses that had he not struck that rock, he would have been translated. Is it a possibility? Yes. 2 people that we know of in the Bible, of one generation after another generation of the 12 tribes of Israel, 2 people were translated. And that's God's point. Whether you're translated at the end of time, because we know as Adventists at the end of time there will be a perfect people that will be translated up into heaven. If you are one of those people, he will do the work in you that needs to be done. You don't have to worry about if that perfection will come. He will do it in you. That willingness is there, and he will do it in you. Because I have not met one person who doesn't want to go to heaven. But I've met a lot of people who want to be translated. So we don't want to sleep in Christ. We really want to be translated. That's what we want. We want the life of Elijah. We want the life of Enoch. That's what we really want. And anything short of that, we think isn't a provision of God. But the reality is, my friends, it is a provision of God. Because the patriarchs, Moses, all of the patriarchs, sleep in Christ. That's what we do. And the love of God is such that he wants all flesh to be saved. So those who sleep in Christ and those who are translated will all be in heaven. Isn't that the real goal? Isn't the real goal to be in heaven? But to not look at ourselves, but to look at Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. If we don't have Jesus, we don't have life. And that's the real matter. Let's get Jesus. And if we have Jesus, we have life. And in that, let's sing the closing hymn, number 633, when we all get to heaven, and it will happen.